Morning and welcome to this week's video. Sort of a two-stage planning anyway for today. Come out initially to have a look for the deer. It's getting close, I suppose, pre-rut, I guess. So I just thought I'd spend maybe the morning here just to see if the deer are starting to gather for the rut. And then maybe, depending on how I get on this morning, is then to spend the afternoon on the coast, maybe seeing if I can see some more migrants, uncertain sort of what venue that's going to be if we choose to do it. Initially, the morning was just absolutely fabulous. I suppose it's been the first real frost of the year to defrost the car slightly, and it was a lovely sort of foggy morning and plenty of frost on the ground. And I was a little bit later than I wanted to be. Normally like to get here a good half an hour or so before dawn, but unfortunately I was here just at dawn, just managed to catch it. But the fallow deer that normally like to sort of melt away in the first sort of half hour or so of dawn, they were sort of gliding off, so I've just about managed to catch them. So that was quite nice. I've had just the briefest glimpses of a red deer stag. I don't know if it's going to be a long enough clip for the people that follow this to be able to recognise it, but I'll slow it down and I'll say a little bit obscured in between some trees. So hopefully I might be able to catch up with them. But like I say, spend most of the morning here and then make a decision whether it's going to be to move off for the migrant birds. Well, let's see what comes. Seeing this buck reminds me of last year when we had quite a mature leucistic fallow deer buck dragging around some barbed wire. It appears to have some form of cord or wire wrapped around its small antlers, almost like a bird's nest. You can see a plastic bobbin within this tangled mess. Just goes to show really how vulnerable wildlife can be when we leave items lying around. I guess it's their sort of natural curiosity that attracts them whilst looking for food. It really does reinforce the need for tidying up after yourself, especially when you're in the countryside. Well, this is rather disappointing. I was walking through the woods and suddenly come across all this mess. Obviously, had a little bit of a campfire going, and what amazes me is they've just left all of their cooking equipment. So managed to gather it all up and place it in the bags. And well, looks as if I'm going to try and carry it with all my other gear. I find it heavy enough as it is without a couple of bags of rubbish. So it looks as if I'm going to try and find somewhere a dustbin to put that. Maybe there's a campsite fairly close. I'm going to probably have a look to place it there. Just a real disappointment. You just wonder what goes through some people's minds when they're in such a wonderful place. You just leave all their rubbish. Well, I think I'm going to see how long it takes me to do that, to get rid of this rubbish, and then see what the time is and formulate a plan from there. Well, that's my good deed done for the day. I managed to find the campsite and get rid of that rubbish, lighten my load. But unfortunately, by the time I got there, it was about sort of half 11, and I thought I'll abandon the idea of going on to the coast and pretty much stay here. So it was a part of the woods that I've not really been to much before, so decided to sort of walk around, have a little explore, work my way back down to where I saw the stag first thing, a brief sighting first thing, and quite fortunate that I have, because saw some hinds coming through the woods down into this sort of heathland here, this opening here, and they've just gone across and rested up, so decided that I'm going to probably stay here and rest my weary legs. That was a little bit more walking than I anticipated doing. So I think I've sort of committed here for the afternoon now. So rest up, see whether they move off. They're probably going to be here for a couple of hours, but I'm just going to rest up, have a coffee, something to eat, and then see if I can explore a little bit more and find some stags if we can. But yeah, I suppose in a way, it was sort of a good thing really to stay here for a bit longer to discover those hinds. Once refreshed, I left these hinds ruminating to discover this rather vocal raven. It appears the stags are conspicuous by their absence, but they'll surely join these hinds over the coming weeks. I made my way back to the resting hinds, who, in my absence, had moved sort of slightly closer to my original position. And this afforded me a much better view, and with the evening approaching, I could film without that heat haze associated with the afternoon. This approaching fallow deer buck caught my attention as it wandered towards the hinds, who seemed indifferent to its presence. After an hour or so, they finally decided to move off, which gave me the opportunity which I'd been waiting so patiently for. I'd seen these small calves earlier in the day and had wanted to film them. And on these occasions, patience certainly pays off, as they passed right in front of me. They just seem so vulnerable when they are this young. A real Bambi-esque treat to see. was certainly thinking to myself that to reach maturity is going to be a real challenge. Those who come to see these beautiful animals certainly have our role to play in their well-being survival. This could be as simple as leaving no trace of your presence. And for that, the message is clear and simple. Take your rubbish home with you. Walk back to the car, sort of really pleased that I stayed on a sort of late afternoon and circled back round for the hinds. I think the highlight was definitely seeing the calves sort of still suckling on their mothers. Whilst I was filming, I could just imagine Denise shouting out, "Cute!" She just loves that sort of thing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, just give it a big thumbs up, like and subscribe, and as always, hope that you'll catch me for a cup of coffee in the next one.